Today I choose to follow you.
Good morning, it's Monday the 9th of January, and this is Coffee with God. If you have your Bibles, turn to 1 Samuel 3 verse 9. 1 Samuel 3 vers 9. 1 Samuel 3 verse 9. We know the story. God hasn't been speaking to Israel for a long time. The prophets, the priests that were serving the people on behalf of God weren't tuned in to the Lord at all. A young boy is given to Eli, the high priest, to raise and to make a prophet of. He hears someone calling him 3 times, and eventually Eli gives him the instruction to say the following: "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening." And he realizes that God is calling him and God is speaking to him as he lies on his bed at night. Now, you and I can get so busy, and this year is already gaining momentum. It started off slow, hopefully, for most of us, but it's now starting to pick up. It's starting to gain momentum, and more pressure is put on us. More demands are placed on us to meet people, to see people, to be with people, to do the work that needs to be done, to get the business up and running, to get the farm going, whatever the calls on your life are. And in the busyness of life, we sometimes just miss hearing that still small voice of God speaking to us. Can I encourage you to make the time to listen and to hear God speaking to you? God does speak to us every day. We just sometimes not tuned in and we just don't hear it. Samuel had to rest. He had to be semi-asleep. He had to be quiet on his bed before he heard the Lord calling him. And because the people were so unaware of God speaking to them, they didn't recognize it. They didn't recognize the voice for who it was. Don't be surprised by God being involved in your life and speaking to you, calling you, urging you, encouraging you, motivating you, sometimes challenging you, sometimes just steering you in a direction that you need to take in order to live out the will that He has for your life. And remember, it's not just hearing God's voice, it's responding to it. Speak, Lord, your servant is listening. So often we pray prayers and we ask God to give us direction, we ask God to give us insight, we ask God to give us wisdom, we ask Him to give us a way forward, but we're not really listening. We're kind of on autopilot, or we're kind of on we ADHD. We focusing on 12, 15 different things at the same time. And although we're asking, one of the things is we're asking God to speak to us. We're not really listening. So kan ek julle bemoedig om te luister. En nie net te luister, maar te hoor. En dit wat jy hoor van God, pas dit toe in jou lewe. Die Here is besig om te praat. Baie keer is ons so besig dat ons hoor nie, en baie keer al vra ons, luister ons nie. So kan ek julle bemoedig hierdie maandagoggend, begin van 'n jaar, soos wat hy momentum optel en hy stadig maar seker besiger raak, dat julle sal luister. Nie net vra dat God sal praat, maar dat jy vir hom sal luister. En as hy praat, dan sal ons hoor. Mag jy 'n wonderlike maandag beleef. Geniet daai koffie, en as jy tydjie het, kom praat bietjie met my. Het sal lekker wees om saam met jou 'n koffie te deel.